Hey, what's your status?
Me? Just trapped in a prison with every criminal I've put away in the last...
This is too good to be true.
Scorpion, can you hold on a minute? I was in the middle of a phone call and it was business.
Marvel's Spider-Man goes from feeling like you're watching a fully fledged Marvel film with a stellar set piece, great character development, and of course all the Marvel love you'd expect from an Avengers film, and then while you're swinging about New York City, it just feels like a pretty amazing video game too. Insomniac Games have brought the Spider-Man universe to life, and worlds collide to create one of the greatest superhero video games of this generation. And the sheer amount of love put into every detail has gone a long way to fully realize the Spider-Man universe on a console. Marvel's Spider-Man is a chunky package of a dozen things done right, and then you get a fantastic story, a fluid and impressive combat system, and a great open world packed with a load of things to do.
We never go to the matches. Everything happens for a reason. Even Norman pulling our plug.
Really hope this works out. Doc's work is too important to go unfinished.
Marvel's Spider-Man takes place somewhere in the Marvel universe where Peter Parker has been Spider-Man for some time now. There is no transformation of powers or anything of the sorts, rather from the start of the game you jump right into the action as if you've been playing it all along. A group of no-gooders known as the Demons are terrorizing New York City, led by Martin Lee, also known as Mr. Negative. The game starts small and slowly opens up before you. Spider-Man is facing his deadliest threats yet, as the Sinister Six, which includes Scorpion, Electro, Rhino, Vulture, Mr. Negative, and another surprise villain, plan to bring down New York City piece by piece.
I'm on it. Spider-Man?
Peter,
You okay?
I'm getting by.
While these villains are on the loose, Peter Parker needs to juggle the daily life of Spider-Man, as well as just being an all-around geek, as he works his day job at the Otto Octavius Science Lab and helps his Auntie May at the food shelter known as Feast. Marvel's Spider-Man is one hell of a story, as throughout the game you meet some fantastic characters, see them grow, and even say goodbye to a few. It pushes the envelope when it comes to character development, and by the time the credits roll, the entire Spider-Man universe was yanked wide open with a load of characters you can connect with.
Well, you know, she's, it's complicated.
Honesty. That's what got me and Ben through the rough patches.
Of course, the star of the show here is Peter Parker and his second life Spider-Man, and the characters are nothing but phenomenal.
Oh, it never ends. Peter?
His one-liners, crazy personality, and of course the look and feel of Spider-Man has been brought to life with an outstanding amount of attention, and it could have easily gone south.
Oh, hi, Rhino!
Hope you like surprise, Spider!
Spider-Man feels great as you swing about New York City, chaining rooftop dives with leaps of faith that see you kicking off flagpoles at great speeds. Often my objective was a few thousand meters away and I could have easily fast traveled, but the idea of getting there by using all of Spidey's awesome travel mechanics made the fast travel option feel a little redundant. The more you play the game, the easier it is to get about, and once I had unlocked the full skill tree that supports and improves Spider-Man's movements, it was a dream to explore the city. Various skills help improve his speed, and as you level up in the game you unlock swing speed buffs and finer tweaks to his overall jumping and swinging. It does help that New York City is packed full of things to see and do, and you want to be able to do them with as much Spider-Man flair as possible. Some great side objectives keep you busy while not on the main missions, like catching a homeless man's pigeons that have escaped and are now flying through the city. Of course, Spider-Man has the ability to catch these birds high up in the sky. Research stations scattered around the city offer side missions that deliver a great sense of New York City. These missions all revolve around some sort of problem, such as toxic water being fed into buildings, fish being poisonous, and of course, Spider-Man can get to the root of all these problems with ease. The missions feel somewhat logical, especially when you're facing issues that we could possibly be facing in our daily lives.
Maybe someday there'll be a billboard of me. That doesn't say menace on it.
I was a bit concerned just how much there would be to do in the game, but it did not disappoint. Every time I found myself on the way to a new mission, I was distracted by something in the distance, be it a collectible backpack that holds cool Easter egg items into Spider-Man's past, to Black Cat's camera that required me to try find a cat doll that she'd hidden in the distance using a camera that she so cleverly planted for me. Not to mention the hundreds of landmarks that you can take photos of in the city. These are actual places in New York City, and I've seen these landmarks in real life, and attention to detail and the scale of them is unprecedented. I think it goes without saying that New York City in Marvel's Spider-Man is a real stunner. Running on the PS4 Pro, it is simply eye candy as everything glows with love, and yes, even the puddles look epic. Lighting in the game comes to life with HDR as it truly shines in every aspect of the game. The morning sun looks warm yet chilly, even Electro's electricity is punchy and vibrant on the screen and can be seen from miles away in the distance. But what about that combat? You spend much of Marvel's Spider-Man fighting and the combat is extremely fun and addictive. At first it comes across very challenging as Spider-Man is no Iron Man here, he can only withstand a few bullets before falling and it does make sense. The combat relies on fast decision-making attacks as you swing around, jump off walls, punch enemies into the air and end them by swinging and ultimately kicking them off the building. Instead of having to chain together different buttons to pull off a combo, you chain different attack styles to pull off an awesome Spider-Man finisher.
The sooner I get you guys back to normal, the better.
Spider-Man can kick, punch and of course swing around, but his gadgets make for a fantastic display of awesome skill. Webbing an enemy to only swing into them and send them flying into a wall to get stuck in place, using a suspension matrix which levitates all enemies in place while you switch to your electric web to shock them for a while they're floating in the air is just one example of the endless combos you can pull off in combat. Different enemies provide more of a challenge, like the brutes that cannot be hit unless they are webbed, and the crazy enemies that wield demon whips which cannot be damaged unless you dodge under them and attack them from behind. While this all sounds complicated, the more you play the game, the more you'll master the game's fantastic combat. Spider-Man also then has a range of suits which not only look epic and relate to the various comic book versions of the hero, but they also offer a range of powers that you can use in combat. My favorite without a doubt is his Avenger suit that has actual spider legs that come out of his back and deal massive damage in combat. You of course need to rack up focus to pull off these moves, and you do so by simply attacking enemies and not getting hit. There's also a range of skills that help Spider-Man in battle, and you can unlock them throughout the game. These include the ability to disarm enemies, earn more focus by perfectly dodging an attack, and even web throwing enemies that you hit up into the air and slam down onto the ground. By the end of the game, I was a killing machine with loads of skills and combos under my belt, but I was not a god as the enemies get harder and have more ways to get past Spider-Man's attacks. Marvel's Spider-Man also has a range of stealth moments in the game that see you take a more silent approach to an area. Various challenges and even side quests that see you take down enemy bases are best done without making a sound, and these scenarios also offered a great break from the usual kick and punch moments. Spider-Man is a deadly silent killing machine at his best, and these challenges helped master his skills. He can leap from street light to street light, cling onto walls, and even sneak up behind enemies to silently take them out. Of course, these missions offer their own obstacles like snipers and guard towers to keep your eyes on, but the overall approach is very different. There was nothing more rewarding than scooping up an enemy, wrapping him in web and leaving him hanging on a crane to simply press triangle and web strike his fellow demon friend below, leaving them both incapacitated. Everything in Spider-Man goes towards Spidey's overall growth and development, and the game has a wide range of tokens that you earn from specific objectives that you use to unlock gadget upgrades and buy new suits. Challenge tokens are earned by completing Taskmaster's tough, silent, brutal, and speed challenges, base tokens are earned by taking out enemy bases, and research tokens are earned by completing the awesome missions associated with them. If you're short a token for that epic classic Spider-Man suit, then head into the specific mission and earn one. Each mission also has specific challenges that earn you even more tokens, such as killing enemies in a specific way or racking up a specific combo. It is all extremely rewarding, and there's so much to do and unlock that even after the credits roll, you'll find yourself grinding more for all those awesome suits. But Marvel's Spider-Man is not just a good story and action game. It is backed by great missions that all tie together. From sneaking into a lab as Mary Jane to photograph a statue that holds secrets to Mr. Negative clans, to escaping death as you come face to face with Rhino as a non-Spider-Man character. These side missions support the overall plot of the game, and they provide a great break from the typical Spider-Man experience. There are even dozens of puzzles that see you perform lab equations as Peter Parker. Much of these non-Spider-Man missions rely on you sneaking, but that helps support the idea that his friends are no superheroes, and they work well with the way the plot unfolds. Spider-Man also has his fair share of boss fights that see you go against the deadly villains in the game, and while much of them play out pretty much the same way, they deliver an exhilarating finale as you try to take them down once and for all. With a large, gorgeous open world, a gripping story, tons of Marvel Easter eggs, and an awesome combat system, Marvel's Spider-Man is everything we've wanted from a Marvel video game. While its plot does not always flow as smoothly as I'd hoped, it delivered on its promises and makes for a fantastic superhero game. Its scale feels as ambitious as the last Avengers movie, and something about it just works. You'd be missing out on an amazing game and experience if you overlooked Spider-Man.
We definitely want to.
But that is all. Are you looking forward to Marvel's Spider-Man? Let us know down below. As always, if you enjoyed, please consider liking and subscribing, that would be highly appreciated. And until next time, farewell.